Have you ever written a post, recorded a video, or prepared a newsletter, only to stop yourself just before pressing publish? A voice inside whispers, "Who do you think you are? Someone else has already said this better. What if nobody reads it? What if people criticize me?" Now, if you've ever experienced those thoughts, welcome to one of the most common challenges in the digital world. It's called imposter syndrome, and it affects beginners and experienced creators alike. Welcome to Digital Marketing Secrets, folks. This is where we explore adaptive leadership and learn how to build a meaningful digital presence with integrity and purpose and confidence. I'm Richard Fontenay, and my own digital journey began much later in life than many other creators. After years in government, in consulting and teaching and leadership development, I found myself learning an entirely new world. Websites, podcasts, YouTube, newsletters, social media, and digital publishing. Like many people, there were moments when I wondered whether I started too late. There were technologies I didn't understand, platforms that changed overnight, algorithms that seemed impossible to predict. Yet, I discovered something encouraging. The digital world doesn't reward perfection nearly as much as it rewards authenticity. And this week's focus is building confidence. And today, we're exploring how to overcome imposter syndrome and develop confidence in your digital voice. And that brings me to what the heck is imposter syndrome? Well, imposter syndrome is the persistent feeling that you don't belong. It convinces capable people that they have nothing valuable to contribute. Ironically, the more knowledgeable we become, the more aware we are of how much we still have to learn. And that awareness can quietly become self-doubt. You compare yourself with creators who have published hundreds of videos. You compare your first article with someone else's 20th book. And you compare your beginning with another person's middle. And long before you know, comparison steals your confidence. But comparison is one of the quickest ways to silence a voice that someone else may genuinely need to hear. One of the biggest myths in digital marketing is that success belongs only to polished experts. Experience tells a different story. People are looking for authenticity. They appreciate creators who are honest about their learning journey. They connect with individuals who admit mistakes, share lessons learned, and continue growing. Think about the people you enjoy following online. Most are not perfect. They're consistent, they're approachable, and they're genuine. And more importantly, they show authenticity, and authenticity builds trust, and trust builds relationships. And then relationships are the true foundation of sustainable digital influence. Don't estimate your experience, as it does have value. One of the greatest barriers to creating content is believing that our experiences are ordinary. We think everyone already knows this, but they don't. Your experience are uniquely yours because no one else has lived your life, and no one has combined your education, your career, your relationships, your successes, and disappointments and lessons in exactly the same way. That unique perspective becomes your digital voice. For me, my years with Benedictines, my work in public administration, decades of consulting, coaching, training, and now building Fontenay Magazine eLearning all contribute to a perspective that no one else can duplicate. The same is true for you. People don't simply learn from information. They learn from informed experience. And that's why your voice really matters. Remember, consistency builds confidence. But many people believe that confidence leads to consistency. In reality, the opposite is often true. Consistency nourishes confidence. For instance, the first article feels awkward. The first video feels uncomfortable. And the first podcast sounds unfamiliar. But with every publication, something changes. Your skills improve. Ideas become clearer. Communication becomes more natural. And confidence grows because experience grows. Every creator you admire once published a first piece of content. Every speaker once gave a first presentation. And every successful digital entrepreneur once wondered whether anyone would pay attention. The difference is they continued. Now, before we continue, why not refresh your coffee or your favorite beverage and take a brief pause. And take a moment to reflect on what you've heard so far. This week's focus is building confidence. And this week's learning journey has 5 publications. Sunday, the companion article, Confidence Killers, 5 Hidden Habits That Undermine Self-Relief. Monday, the listening heart, Confidence in God's Love, Finding Boldness Through the Love Within. Wednesday, coaching talks, Confidence in Your Career, Step into opportunities with courage. Friday, digital marketing secrets, Confidence in your digital voice, overcoming impostor syndrome. And on Saturday, our FMelearning Roundup newsletter, bringing together the week's key insights, practical takeaways, and encouragement. Together, these 5 publications form one integrated learning journey designed to help you grow in business, work, and life. In part 2, we'll explore practical strategies for developing your digital voice, serving your audience with confidence, and building lasting influence through authenticity rather than perfection. Welcome back, folks. I hope you enjoyed your coffee and you are ready to continue. In part 1, we explored one of the biggest obstacles facing today's content creators, imposter syndrome. We discovered that confidence grows through authenticity, consistency, and recognizing the unique value of our own experiences. Now, let's move from understanding the challenges to developing practical habits that will help you build a confident and credible digital presence. First, serve before you sell. Now, one of the greatest shifts in my own digital journey came when I stopped asking, how can I get more people to notice me? And started asking, how can I help someone today? Now, that one question changes the entire purpose of digital communication. People don't return because we're constantly promoting ourselves. They return because we've helped them solve a problem, answered a question, offered encouragement, or shared an insight that made a difference. That's why one of the guiding principles of Fontenay Magazine eLearning is value first. When your focus is serving rather than selling, confidence naturally increases because your attention shifts from yourself to your audience. Ironically, the creators who make the greatest impact are usually the ones who spend the least amount of time trying to impress others. Now, here's something that you must keep locked away in your brain. Your voice is your brand. In digital marketing, we often hear people talk about building a brand. Many immediately think about logos and colors, websites, or graphics. Those elements certainly matter, but they are not your brand. Your brand is the experience people have every time they encounter your work. Do you consistently encourage people? Do you provide practical ideas? Do you communicate with honesty and respect? And can people trust your information? Do they leave feeling more hopeful, more informed, or better equipped than when they first arrived? These are the questions that shape a lasting digital reputation. It is certainly true that technology will continue to evolve, platforms will change, and algorithms will come and go. But trust remains the most valuable asset that you can build online. Now, it's all about progress over perfection. One of the greatest barriers to digital confidence is believing that every article, video, or podcast must be perfect before it's published. Perfection is an impossible standard. Actually, I wish we could remove that word from the dictionary. In our world, there is no such thing as perfection. Excellence, yes, but perfection? Nah. Excellence is worthwhile pursuing. There is an important difference between perfection and excellence. Excellence means giving your best effort, learning from feedback, and improving over time. And perfection often means never finishing, wanting to keep up with others in a way that is unhealthy for you. I've learned that through experience, every piece of content teaches us something. Some episodes will receive more attention than others. Some articles will resonate better than others. And some will quietly reach a smaller audience. And that's okay, because all three are valuable. Every publication is another opportunity to learn what serves people well. Progress, and not perfection, is what builds confidence over the long haul. Another lesson I've learned is that consistency doesn't require constant activity. It requires a sustainable rhythm. That's one reason we've structured our e-learning around a weekly publishing cycle. Each publication supports the next. The Leadership Companion article introduces this week's themes. The 3 podcasts explore that theme from different leadership perspectives. And the Roundup newsletter gathers the week's learning into one practical summary. This rhythm allows us to create thoughtful content rather than react constantly. It also reminds us that meaningful influence is built over months and years and not overnight. The same principle applies to your own digital work. Choose a pace you can maintain, and consistency will accomplish far more than occasional bursts of activity followed by long periods of silence. Now, as you go about your own development, don't forget to encourage conversation. The digital world often rewards broadcasting. Leadership invites conversation. So instead of asking only, "What do I want to say?" ask, "What conversation do I want to begin?" Invite questions, welcome thoughtful disengagement, celebrate other people's insights, and listen carefully to your own audience. The strongest online communities aren't built around personalities. They're built around meaningful conversations that help people learn and grow together. When your audience feels heard, they become participants rather than spectators. And that's where lasting influence begins. And for goodness sake, understand that confidence grows through service. Looking back, I realized that confidence didn't suddenly appear after I published a certain number of articles or recorded a particular podcast. It grew gradually through serving one person at a time. One article, one conversation, one podcast, one newsletter. And those small acts, repeated consistently, became something much larger than I imagined. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. Confidence is not the reward for becoming successful. And confidence grows while faithfully serving others with the gifts, experiences, and wisdom we have been given. And now we turn to the learning lens. Your digital voice is not measured by how loudly you speak, but how consistently you serve. Authenticity creates trust. Consistency builds confidence. And service creates influence. The most meaningful digital presence is one that helps people grow, one conversation, one article, one podcast, and one relationship at a time. Now, as you think about your own digital journey this week, ask yourself, what messages, lessons, or experiences have I had that is holding me back because I doubted anyone would find it valuable? Perhaps someone is waiting to hear exactly what only you can provide. Now, don't let comparison silence your contribution. Your voice doesn't need to be the loudest. It simply needs to be genuine. Now, thank you for joining me on Digital Marketing Secrets, folks. If this episode has encouraged you, I invite you to visit this week's FM eLearning Leadership Companion Confidence Killers, 5 Hidden Habits That Undermine Self-Belief, and explore the Listening Heart and coaching talks if you haven't already. And together, they form our integrated learning journey designed to help you grow in business, work, and life. And don't forget to look for our FMelearning Roundup newsletter that is published on Saturday, where we will bring together the week's insights, practical applications, and next steps. Now, if you want to get on our list, join us at infofontenaymarketing@gmail.com. We would love to have you on board. Now, until next time, keep learning, keep adapting, keep serving, because in the digital world, your greatest influence begins with the confidence to share your authentic voice. I'm Richard Fontenay, saying so long. See you next week. Bye now.